Right now at 5:30, investigators in Louisiana are trying to figure out what led up to the deadly attack on Baton Rouge police officers. We'll have the latest on that just ahead.
Also on WKYT, law enforcement across the country mourning the loss of the 3 Louisiana police officers, and you'll be hearing from some Kentucky officers after the deadly shooting.
And the Republican National Convention kicks off in Cleveland today. We are on the campaign trail ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning and welcome in. It's great to have you with us. Hope you had a great weekend and you're ready to go. Here we are Monday, July 18th. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Let's get a look at what's happening with the weather because we're hearing it's going to be pretty hot out there.
Yeah, a real summer week ahead, huh?
That's true. Yeah, we'll be in the 90s for much of your work week, some 80s here and there, but just know it's going to be pretty humid. Not only that, but we're looking at some thunderstorms heading our direction right now in Indianapolis. Not so much in our viewing area just yet, but give it another couple of hours. I'd say about an hour and a half to about 2 hours is when we could see the first rumbles in far northern Kentucky. And there's your look. Frankfort at 73 degrees. Looks pretty good in the capital city. Heads up for some storms around there, anywhere from 9 a.m. to about 11 a.m. The skycast for today, 90 degrees. If you do see some rain, you're going to be there in the 80s. A few storms with us. Some of these could be strong. Could we be looking at any severe weather? I'm going to have that in your forecast coming up.
And we'll see you then. We thank you. Here's the latest from WKYT News. This morning, authorities in Louisiana are trying to figure out what motivated Sunday's deadly ambush on police officers in Baton Rouge. Investigators say Gavin Long, a decorated ex-Marine, acted alone when he exchanged gunfire with officers at a gas station, killing at least 3.
Long was shot and killed at the scene. Don Champion has the latest from Baton Rouge.
Mourners in Baton Rouge came together Sunday, hours after the ambush killings of 3 of the city's finest, including 32-year-old Montrell Jackson, a veteran officer who leaves behind a wife and infant son.
My heart is broken and torn, but I believe that God is still a healer in the midst of what we're going through.
Jackson, along with officers Matthew Gerald and Brad Garafola, were shot and killed Sunday by Gavin Long. The ex-Marine from Kansas City opened fire on the officers who were responding to reports of a man dressed in all black with a gun. This 911 call captures one of the officers' desperate pleas for help.
I'm hit. I'm in front of on the side of the old Floyd Browns by the coal wash.
As part of their investigation, authorities are looking into the gunman's social media activity for clues into the attack.
You gotta fight back. That's the only way a bully knows to quit.
Just a week ago, the gunman posted this video under an online alias on YouTube, railing about police violence against African Americans.
If we come together as a family peacefully and talk it out, we can fix our problems.
From the White House Sunday, President Obama said an attack on the police is an attack on all of us. Don Champion, CBS News, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Well, 2 other sheriff's deputies were injured in the shooting. Nicholas Tullier, an 18-year veteran, is in critical condition. Bruce Simmons, a 23-year veteran, is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Well, police departments across the country are mourning the loss of the officers in Baton Rouge.
Departments throughout central Kentucky posted messages on social media to remember their fellow officers. WKYT's Mark Barber continues our top story team coverage. He's live in Lexington. Mark?
Good morning, Bill. Louisiana's governor is calling the killing of those 3 police officers an unspeakable, heinous act. Police here in Lexington are calling it absolutely heartbreaking. First there was Dallas, and now after Baton Rouge, the law enforcement agencies are on high alert in central Kentucky. In Georgetown, the police chief is reminding his officers to watch out for each other. In an email that was recently shared on their Facebook page, he told his officers they can pay the greatest respect to their fallen brothers in blue by leading their own community right now. He also reminded his officers that they're still supported by their own community. While many in law enforcement are considering how they will continue policing communities here, others are thinking about the officers who did not make it home.
I think about the families that have been impacted by these tragic situations. The families of the victims and the victims themselves, but also the police officers and their families and their agencies who are involved, and in the bigger picture, their communities, because the interrelationship between police officers and the individuals who have been injured or killed by police officers certainly impact our community at large.
receiving many notes of appreciation from people in the area, and you can see an illustration of that in Somerset. Take a look. Yesterday, 50 people showed up to pray for the safety of officers in that police department. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
State leaders weighing in on the Baton Rouge shooting. Governor Matt Bevin tweeted, "Let us all stand united in condemning the evil that is being unleashed on those who are protecting us." You can read his full statement on our website, WKYT.com.
The Republican National Convention opens today, and 50,000 people are expected to flood Cleveland, Ohio for that major event. The lineup for opening day includes a wide range of speakers. Today's marquee speakers include Trump's wife, Melania, and retired Army Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. The lineup ranges from parents of Americans killed in terrorist attacks to reality show stars to actors. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani is also expected to speak. Security is tightening in Cleveland in anticipation of the protests. Over the weekend, protests were peaceful, but Cleveland's police chief says he knows that could change.
We planned for anything and everything that could happen.
The head of Cleveland's police union asked the governor to temporarily suspend Ohio's open carry law. A spokesperson for the governor says he does not have the authority to do that. A couple of Kentucky lawmakers will be in Cleveland for the convention this week. Both U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell and State Senator Ralph Alvarado will be speaking. The theme is Make America Work Again. And Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton will be speaking at the NAACP's National Convention in Cincinnati. That's later today.
Police in Montgomery County have arrested a man wanted for a couple of robberies. Mount Sterling police say Bradley Cornwell from Paris turned himself into police. He's charged with 2 counts of robbery. Police say Cornwell robbed 2 gas stations on the weekend over the weekend on US 460. Well, several auto shops work to raise money for the family of one shop's worker. Jeremy Hampton died back in June in a crash on Nicholasville Road. He worked at Lucky's Auto Sports. Several different auto shops from all over the area came together over the weekend to raise money for Hampton's family. People rode their bikes or cars to celebrate Jeremy's life. They also sold T-shirts with his name on it to help raise the money.
We just felt like this was something that he would enjoy doing and enjoy being done to remember him.
We have just been overwhelmed at the outpouring of grief and support that we've gotten.
Jeremy's stepmother says losing him's been tough, but seeing the joy his memory brings has been comforting to their family. Lucky's marketing director says as long as there is a need, they will continue to raise money for Hampton's family.
A Central Kentucky woman is waiting for a call that could change her life. Samantha Licato is a sales technician for Thoroughbred Diesel in Winchester. She also needed a new kidney 5 years ago. Licato recently received one, but a year after surgery it failed. Now she's back to square one, hoping that she will get the call that doctors have found another match.
I've exhausted my close family friends. Now I need to reach out and find help from someone who may not know who I am. At this point, there's a 3% chance that anybody across the nation is going to match me.
Licator has to go through dialysis for 8 hours a day. Doctors say it could take 4 to 6 years to get a second kidney donation. Licator tells us her best second chance will be through a donor chain. We wish her the best in that circumstance. Well, Jessamine County is getting a new youth facility.
The Kentucky United Methodist Homes for Children and Youth will start working on the facility today. WKYT's Mike Byer is live in Nicholasville with details on the project. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Rebecca. It's going to be a huge project. It's going to cost $15 million for the new facility, and the construction of it begins today. The new youth center will be located at 1115 Astro Drive in Nicholasville. It all starts with a groundbreaking ceremony this morning at 10. The ceremony will feature several guest speakers, including Attorney General Andy Beshear and United Methodist Bishop Lindsey Davis. The facility is for abused, neglected, and abandoned children. The new campus will feature a state-of-the-art program building, paddocks for equine therapy, and an on-campus learning facility. Now, the staff will be made up of educators from Jessamine County's renowned alternative school. Live in Jessamine County, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Thanks so much, Mike. A child missing can be a parent's biggest fear, and investigators say fingerprints are a very important factor in finding someone who's missing. This week, police in London are working with the Laurel County Public Library to fingerprint children for free as a part of the Safe ID Kids program. Each parent gets a card with their child's fingerprint, age, eye color, hair color, home address, and picture.
So in the event that a child does go missing, they have that immediately available to hand to the police department to say, my child's missing, this has all of their information on it, these are their fingerprints.
The event is on Thursday at the Laurel County Public Library in the children's section. It's free and open to the public.
Well, they call it Hillbilly Christmas in July. Motorcyclists and classic car enthusiasts were in the Harley-Davidson parking lot in Pikeville to ride in the 11th annual Randy Jones Memorial Ride. Participants rode to raise money for Shriners Hospitals in Lexington.
What we have done here in the past 10 years is we've taken $428,000 to Lexington Shriners Hospital. We've taken over 44,000 toys with the help of Double Quick. So this year our goal was $72,000, and looks like we're going to beat that.
A lot of generosity there. Organizers say there were about 500 motorcycles in the ride down there. Looks like they had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
had a good day to do it. It was a hot one.
And speaking of ride, let's get a check on how traffic's moving this morning.
See how your ride in is on this Monday at 5:41. And right now we'll look at the map of the region.
Looks good. No major issues out there to report. Things looking good out there. We do have a look at the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam. This one, look at it in New Circle and Boardwalk.
Yeah, on the north end of town, and things are quiet there, picking up it looks like, and we anticipate that'll be the case as we head toward the 6 o'clock hour. Officer Don will be in just a few minutes to get us through that morning commute. Still good to have you along, and we have a lot more news coming up for you on your Monday on WKYT.
Well, it's not the traditional cuddly pet, but a Florida man and his gator have been together for 47 years.
Wow.
We'll have more on this story when we come back on WKYT this morning.
And we have those storms increasing the next few hours. We'll start to see those into northern Kentucky in just about an hour and a half to about 2 hours. I'm going to go through the timing hour by hour, help you plan around these. Coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
It's a pretty nice start to the day. I will tell you this, it's a little bit humid as you walk out the door, but I promise you this, you will hear me say that every single day this work week off towards your weekend, because it is going to be hot and humid as we slide throughout your work week. Right now in Frankfort, the capital city, it's 73 degrees. We're in the mid-70s here in Lexington, upper 60s, lower 70s down south. So anywhere you go, the common denominator is the humidity, not so much the temperatures. Some are in the upper 60s, some in the mid-70s. So it kind of depends on where you are, but clear skies at this moment. That is going to change dramatically here in the next few hours. There's that line of showers and thunderstorms heading our direction. Now, there's no severe weather onto this, and even when I got in here this morning, just a few hours ago, there has been no severe weather. So these are strong thunderstorms waking everybody up in Indianapolis, but heading our direction. I would expect it right in the far northern zones, anywhere from 7 a.m., so about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes, to about 9 a.m. That's when you can expect those to roll into the far northern half. You can see there's 9 a.m., but 7 to 9 a.m. expected in northern Kentucky. Then it slides southbound, Lexington, I-64 corridor, Frankfort, anywhere from about 9 a.m. to about 11 a.m. is when I expect it around the I-64 corridor. That does include Moorhead, and work your way into Montgomery County, Clark County. My friends in Winchester could see these storms at that time. So there's 11 a.m. Let's go even further than that in time. And you can see down south anywhere from, I would say, noon to about 3 p.m. is when these storms roll through the southern zones. And that's not the only batch. Look at the batch back toward the west. It starts to creep toward our region. I do expect it in at least the western half. There's 5 p.m. Lexington dry at that time on this particular model, but just know it's hit and miss thunderstorms as we go through the day, and it's just not looking that great. Some of these will be strong, meaning heavy downpours, a lot of lightning. I expect that to be common as we go through the day. However, maybe a stray cell is possible that could become severe with damaging winds being our main player. So that's today. It's not a great chance of severe weather. Definitely no widespread severe weather. Don't expect that. But maybe a stray cell here or there. Nonetheless, most of us will see some rain today. Not all of us, but most of us, and it's hit and miss for tomorrow too. So today and tomorrow are the days to watch. Now, you drive through the work week, and it's not so much about thunderstorms. And now it's going to be about conditions, the way it feels outside, because we'll actually be in the upper 80s to lower 90s all week long. It doesn't matter where you are, you will be in the upper 80s to lower 90s. Then we get off towards your Friday, Saturday, you're talking about mid-90s. That's where heat indices, that feels like temperature, will be right around 100 degrees. So here comes the heat, here comes the storms. Storms today and tomorrow, at least hit and miss, but then we really focus in on the heat the next several days.
Hard not to.
It is. I know. It's summertime, right?
With that coming, yeah.
Feeling it.
A little fog at the bridge this morning, by the way, on the Clays Ferry. Everybody keep that one in mind. 5:48 right now. All right, move over faithful dogs. A South Florida man has opted for a different animal best friend, and that is a 13-foot-long alligator.
Nice and cuddly, huh? Gwendolyn the gator loves pizza and chocolate chip cookies. Oh, we have something in common. And she's been in the care of David Van Buren for the past 47 years. David even took her to college with him. Wonder how that worked out. Roommate, perhaps? In 1994, the state took Gwendolyn away, but ultimately a judge ruled that David could keep her. But now that she is 13 feet long, Fish and Wildlife asking again questions. They say for David to keep that gator, he will need to make some changes to his home. He says he's willing to do whatever it takes. Looks like part of the gig with having a home for a gator is you have to have some kind of pond or something.
Yeah, would make sense. Have at least have her own space, right?
Best friends forever, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Man's best friend, the gator.
Long relationship there. 5:49 on WKYT this morning on your Monday.
Coming up, you'll get the stories making news right now.
We're going to check traffic again. We'll see how things are moving along ahead of the 6 o'clock hour, and all of our top stories are on the way. And it is so good to have you with us on WKYT. Good morning and welcome back into WKYT this morning. Glad you're along with us here on your Monday. Hope you had a good weekend.
Let's take a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you at this hour.
Busy in our newsroom, of course, authorities in Louisiana trying to figure out what motivated yesterday's deadly ambush on Baton Rouge police officers. Investigators say Gavin Long, who was a decorated ex-Marine, acted alone when he exchanged gunfire with officers at a gas station, killing at least 3 officers. Long was shot and killed at the scene.
This morning, officers in central Kentucky are grieving for those officers who were killed in Baton Rouge. Here in Lexington, police say they've received many notes of appreciation over the past few days. In a Facebook post yesterday, the police department called the shooting deeply heartbreaking. They said, "This job isn't easy, but it's the career we have chosen because we care deeply about serving and protecting the city and its people." In political news, the Republican National Convention kicks off in Cleveland today.
And the convention will start with tight security in the wake of the Baton Rouge situation and other recent attacks. Tonight's theme, Make America Safe Again, focusing on how a Donald Trump presidency would help restore law and order. The presumptive Republican nominee is expected to officially claim the GOP nomination on Thursday.
Turkey is slowly returning to normal following Friday's failed military coup. Yesterday, Turkey's president attended one of the first funerals for victims who died in the clashes. So far, authorities have arrested thousands of people allegedly involved in the bloody incident. A new study shows that what your kids watch and play can impact their behaviors. That tops your morning headlines for health.
Kids exposed to virtual violence through TV, movies, or gaming could become more aggressive, violent, or fearful. That's according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. It suggests parents view games and movies with their children, make a media plan for the family, and protect kids under age 6 from all violent media. Many elderly people may not be taking their prescribed medications correctly. Researchers from Belgium looked at about 500 adults over the age 80, and they found more than half were underusing or misusing their medicines. The study also found a link between underusing essential medication and an increased risk of dying or hospitalization. Every overworked mother's fantasy comes to the big screen, and the newest Ghostbusters movie comes up short on the weekend at the box office.
Yeah, Brian Webb has the latest on your eye and entertainment.
The Secret Life of Pets scared away the ghost at the box office. The animated film stayed on top, raking in $50.6 million in ticket sales. Ghostbusters, the all-female reboot of the 1980s blockbuster, made $46 million in its debut. 3 overextended, overstressed moms run away from their husbands, kids, and their seemingly perfect peers in the female road trip film Bad Moms. Kristen Bell says going on a wild, unmom-like binge is every mother's fantasy.
It's a realistic, comedic portrayal of what I think every woman who has had a kid has gone through.
Mila Kunis and Katherine Hahn round out the trio of moms on the run. Bad Moms opens July 29th. A new documentary feeds America's ongoing fascination with the late John F. Kennedy Jr. I Am JFK Jr., a tribute to a good man, follows Kennedy's life as a toddler in the White House to his death in a 1999 plane crash at age 38. It features interviews with celebrities and politicians who knew him well. The film comes to select theaters Friday. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Brian Webb for CBS News, New York.
All right, 5:56 the time, rolling towards 6 o'clock now.
Let's get a check right now on today's traffic trouble spots with a look at live drive traffic.
See what's going on out there. Here are the current travel times. Just a 12-minute ride in from Nicholasville. It's a good ride from Frankfort or Richmond, Winchester this morning. Everybody looking good. We have no reports of any troubles. Here is a look at the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam. This is Winchester Road and Loudon Avenue, US 60, looking good at the moment. All right, hope you'll right now stay with us. We're going to check on weather before we head to 6 o'clock.
What say you, Micah?
Yeah, and it looks like those storms are heading our direction. I would expect these right around an hour to an hour and a half far northern Kentucky, and they'll slide southbound. We're going to talk about the severity of that and the timing coming up with another hour of WKYT News.